Hello again, and welcome back to this quiet space, this sanctuary of stillness we create together. Let the world outside continue on its way. For you here now, there is nothing that needs to be done, nothing that needs to be solved. There is only the gentle invitation to rest, to be held by the soft fabric of this moment. Let us begin as always with the simple, quiet miracle of your own breath. Notice the air as it comes and as it goes, a silent tide rising and falling, a rhythm that has been with you always. With each gentle exhale, feel the small knots of the day begin to loosen. The shoulders soften. The jaw unclenches. The tiny furrows of concentration smooth themselves out. You are arriving little by little into a state of profound and simple peace. Tonight, our journey begins with a feeling that is familiar to us all. The feeling of holding a question in the mind. Think for a moment of a tangled thread. A length of soft yarn perhaps that has somehow become knotted and looped upon itself. It is not an angry or frustrating knot. It is just a gentle puzzle, a soft complexity. Your mind can trace the path of the thread, follow it as it disappears into the knot and emerges again somewhere else. There is a quiet curiosity in this, a desire to see it smoothed out, to understand its tangled shape, to see it restored to a single, simple, flowing line. A question held in the mind is much like this. It is a gentle knot in the flow of our thoughts. It is not something to be fought with or torn at, but something to be held gently, to be observed with a quiet patience until the path through it becomes clear. Let us use this feeling as our starting point tonight. Let us travel back in time to another quiet room on another dark night, where another mind was holding just such a question. The year is 1697. The city is London. Imagine a winter's night, the air outside crisp and cold. Perhaps a thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the cobblestones, sparkling in the faint gaslight. The sounds of the city, the clatter of carriages, the call of the watchman are growing quieter now, muffled by the late hour and the cold. Inside, in a warm room, a fire is burning low in the hearth. The embers glow with a deep and gentle orange, pulsing softly like a sleeping heart. The only other light comes from a single candle on a heavy wooden desk, its small flame dancing silently, casting long, soft shadows that sway on the walls. The room is filled with the scent of old paper, of leather-bound books, and the faint, clean smell of melting beeswax. It is a sanctuary of thought, a chamber of profound and welcome silence. At this desk sits a man recently returned from a long day's work. His name is Isaac Newton. He is older now, his hair the color of snow, his mind no longer consumed by the great world-changing questions of his youth. His days are now spent in more practical matters at the Royal Mint, overseeing the nation's currency. But the universe, it seems, has not quite finished speaking to him. On his desk, newly arrived in the Evening Post, lies a letter. A folded piece of paper that has traveled across the sea from Europe. It is from a brilliant mathematician named Johann Bernoulli. But let us not think of this as a challenge or a gauntlet thrown down in a contest of intellects. Let us see it for what it truly is. It is a question. A tangled thread sent from one quiet mind to another across the dark water and the cold land. It is in its own way a letter from the universe, using a human hand as its scribe. Newton, in the quiet of his room with the fire breathing softly beside him, breaks the seal and unfolds the paper. The candlelight illuminates the elegant, spidery script. And on the page are two questions, two gentle knots for the mind to contemplate. They are not questions about money or politics or the goings-on of the world. They are questions about the very shape of space, about the habits of the universe itself. The first question is one of pure and simple grace. Imagine it says a small bead like a tiny pearl at the top of a wire. You want this bead to slide guided only by its own weight from its high starting point to a lower finishing point. The question is this: what shape should the wire be so that the bead completes its journey in the shortest possible time? It is a beautiful question. It is not asking for the shortest path in terms of distance, that of course would be a straight line. It is asking for the path of least time, the path of greatest efficiency, the universe's own preferred route. Would it be a steep drop and then a flat run? A gentle, even slope? A deep, curving scoop? The question hangs in the air, shimmering with a quiet beauty. It is a riddle posed by gravity itself. The second question is also one of shapes and curves. It asks for a single magical curve with a special property. A curve from which you can cut a segment, and that segment, when used to create another smaller curve, will have precisely the same properties as the first. It is a question about self-similarity, about patterns that echo themselves on smaller and smaller scales, like a Russian doll or a fern frond, whose leaves are perfect miniatures of the whole. Newton holds these questions in his mind in the deep quiet of the late hour. The city of London is now asleep. The fire has burned down to a soft bed of glowing embers. The candle flame is his only companion. This is not a moment of pressure or anxiety. It is a moment of profound communion. The universe has posed a riddle, and his mind, quiet and open, is listening for the answer. He does not pace the room. He does not scribble frantically. We can imagine him simply sitting there in his chair, his eyes perhaps closed, allowing the tangled thread of the question to rest in his awareness. He is not attacking the knot. He is gently tracing its lines, feeling its shape, becoming familiar with its intricacies. He is allowing the question to speak to him, to tell him what it wants to be. This is the nature of deep thought. It is not a battle, it is a dance. It is a state of receptive stillness, a state of allowing. The mind becomes a calm, clear pool of water, and the answer which was there all along is allowed to rise to the surface. And so, as you rest here in your own quiet room, you can perhaps feel a kinship with this moment. You too are holding a gentle question in your mind. The question is, how do I find my way to rest? What is the path of least resistance into sleep? And just like the questions on that paper, the answer is not a straight line. It is not something to be achieved through force or effort. It is a gentle curve, a path of allowing, a shape of surrender. You do not need to solve this riddle. You need only to create the quiet space, the receptive stillness for the answer to unfold within you. The letter sits on the desk, a folded whisper from the cosmos. The questions it holds are not problems to be vanquished. They are invitations. Invitations to look more deeply at the way the world is put together, at its hidden elegance, at its silent, poetic logic. And in the quiet sanctuary of that room with the city dreaming around him, a great mind opens itself to listen. And we in our own quiet sanctuary can do the same. We can open our minds to the gentle, silent, and natural unfolding of our own journey towards rest. The thread is tangled perhaps, but with patience, with gentleness, it will reveal its simple, beautiful line. All in its own good time. And so we remain in that quiet room, suspended in a moment of profound contemplation. The letter from the universe lies open on the desk, its questions shimmering in the soft candlelight. Outside, the great city of London has surrendered to the deep velvet stillness of a winter's night. Inside, there is only the gentle rhythmic breathing of the fire's embers and the silent presence of a mind at rest. Let us stay with this stillness. Let us explore it. For it is here in the quiet that the true miracle is about to unfold. The story of this night is not a story of struggle. It is not about a great intellect wrestling with a difficult problem, fighting against time and exhaustion. To frame it so would be to miss the beauty, to misunderstand the very nature of profound discovery. No, this is a story about receptivity. It is a story of how a mind, when it becomes as vast and as quiet as the night sky, can allow the stars of understanding to reveal themselves one by one. Imagine Newton's mind not as a tool, not as a powerful engine of calculation, but as a deep and silent lake. Throughout the long day at the Mint, the waters of this lake have been stirred by the winds of daily life, by conversations, by decisions, by the endless stream of small concerns. But now, in the sanctuary of his study, in the deep quiet of the late hour, the winds have ceased, and the sediment of the day, the little particles of worry and distraction, are beginning to settle, drifting slowly down into the deep, leaving the water above to become perfectly, exquisitely clear. He is not working on the problem. He is creating the conditions for the answer to be heard. He is letting go of the day. He is letting go of the need to find a solution. He is simply holding the question the way you might hold a smooth, cool stone in the palm of your hand, feeling its weight, its texture, its form, without any intention, other than to simply know it. The hours pass. The single candle burns lower, the small golden pool of melted wax at its base growing wider. The shadows on the wall lengthen, becoming softer, more diffuse. Time itself seems to slow down, to stretch, to become as deep and as quiet as the room itself. And in this profound stillness, the first of the two questions begins to gently unfurl. The question of the bead on the wire. The search for the path of least time. In a cluttered mind, this question would be a frustrating tangle of possibilities. But in the clear water of a silent mind, the shape begins to emerge not as a calculation, but as a feeling and intuition. The mind traces a straight line the shortest distance. It feels the initial shocking speed of the steep drop, but then the long, slow, unsatisfying journey across the flat bottom. No, that is not it. The universe is more graceful than that. That path feels impatient, hurried at the beginning, and lazy at the end. It does not have the rhythm of nature. The mind then traces a gentle, even slope. The journey is smooth, consistent, but it feels too slow, too cautious. It lacks a certain commitment, a certain joyful surrender to the pull of the world. It is a safe path, but it does not feel like the most clever, the most elegant. And so the mind remains open, quiet, waiting. And slowly a new shape begins to suggest itself. A curve? A beautiful, sweeping concave curve. A shape like the gentle dip of a valley or the graceful arc of a seagull's wing. The mind places the bead at the top of this curve, and it lets it go. And in the theater of the mind, the journey unfolds. There is an initial acceleration, a swift and joyful yielding to the pull of gravity. But unlike the straight drop, the curve gently cradles the bead, guiding its momentum, turning the downward fall into a forward rush. The bead sweeps down into the belly of the curve, reaching its maximum speed at the lowest point, and then using that very momentum, it climbs the gentle slope of the other side, arriving at its destination with a sense of fluid, effortless grace. There it is. The feeling of it is right. It is a path of both speed and elegance, a path of perfect cooperation with the forces of nature. The shape feels harmonious. It feels true. And a name for it drifts into the mind, a name that comes from the image of a point on a rolling wheel, a cycloid. The solution has not been forced. It has been recognized. It was always there, waiting in the library of perfect forms, and the quiet mind simply allowed itself to be shown the way. There is no triumphant shout. There is no surge of adrenaline. There is only a deep, quiet, and satisfying sense of rightness, of a knot that has been gently untangled, revealing its simple, beautiful line. He has not conquered the problem. He has befriended it. He has listened to its story. And with the first question now resting peacefully, the mind turns without any hurry to the second. The question of the self-similar curve, the shape that contains perfect smaller copies of itself. This question is different. It is not about a journey, but about a form, a principle of being. Again, the mind does not strive. It becomes a quiet space, a gallery, and it allows different forms to present themselves. It considers a circle a parabola. It feels their properties, but they do not hold this specific magical secret. They do not contain their own echo, and so the mind waits. It sinks into an even deeper state of quiet. It is open now not just to shapes, but to principles, to the very logic that underpins creation. And the insight arrives as gentle as the dawn. The secret is not in a single shape, but in a method, a way of seeing, a way of relating one curve to another. And with this method, this new way of seeing, not just one such curve could be found, but a whole family of them. An infinite number of these magical, self-reflecting forms. The answer to the second question was not a thing, but a key. A key that could unlock a whole series of doors, each one leading to a room of new and beautiful mathematical wonders. And now, both questions lie at rest. Their tangled threads have been smoothed into straight, luminous lines of understanding. The communion is complete. The universe asked a question, and a quiet mind, a mind that had become a sanctuary of stillness, was able to hear the answer whispered back. The first faint hints of gray are beginning to appear in the eastern sky. The deepest part of the night is passing. The candle has burned almost to its base. Newton takes a clean sheet of paper, dips his quill in the ink pot, and in the soft fading light he writes down the solutions. The script is calm, steady. It is not the writing of a man who has been fighting a battle all night. It is the writing of a man who has been listening to a beautiful piece of music and is now transcribing the melody simply, clearly, without ornament. He writes no name on the paper. The solution does not need a signature. For a mind that has perceived a truth of the universe, the truth itself is the only reward. The joy is in the knowing, not in the owning, and with the work complete, a deep and welcome sense of peace settles over him. The kind of peace that follows a profound and meaningful conversation. He has communed with the universe, and now he too can rest. He rises from his chair, blows out the last of the candle's flame, and allows the quiet darkness of the room to embrace him as he finds his own path of least resistance into the sanctuary of sleep. The anonymous solution written on a single sheet of paper in the quiet hours before the dawn now begins its own journey. It is folded, sealed, and sent back across the water, a silent messenger returning to its source. It travels from the quiet study in London across the choppy gray waters of the Channel and over the flat wintry lands of Europe until it arrives in the hands of the man who first posed the question, Johann Bernoulli. Let us imagine this moment. Bernoulli himself, a mind of immense power and brilliance, has received solutions from some of the greatest thinkers of his time. He has seen the methodical workings, the intricate calculations, the different paths that different minds have taken to unravel the two riddles he put forth. And now he holds this final anonymous paper. He unfolds it. And as his eyes move across the page, a different kind of feeling begins to dawn on him. This is not just another solution. This is something else. There is a profound economy to it, a startling clarity. The logic unfolds with a serene and devastating grace. There are no wasted steps, no hesitations. It is as if the author had not calculated the answer, but had simply listened to the universe and written down what it said. The path to the solution is as elegant as the solution itself. It is a perfect, seamless cascade of thought. And in that moment of reading, Bernoulli understands. He does not need to see a name at the bottom of the page. He does not need a signature or a seal. He knows who wrote this. He knows with an unshakable certainty who is the author of this profound and simple elegance. And the words that come to his mind are a testament to this recognition, a phrase that has echoed through the centuries. Tanquam ex ungue leonem, he declares. We recognize the lion by his claw. Now, this phrase on its surface might conjure images of power, of ferocity, of a fearsome king of beasts. But let us, in our quiet space tonight, explore the deeper, more peaceful meaning that resides within this beautiful analogy. Let us not think of the lion as a predator, but as a creature of pure and unapologetic being. Imagine a great lion walking silently at the edge of a savanna at dusk. The air is cooling. The light is soft and golden. The creature moves with a slow, deliberate, and liquid grace. Every movement is efficient, powerful, yet completely relaxed. It is a walking embodiment of serene and absolute confidence. It is not trying to be a lion, it simply is a lion. And as it walks, it leaves prints in the soft, damp earth. A series of deep, clear impressions. Look closely at one of these prints. The powerful rounded shape of the main pad, the four distinct impressions of the toes. It is a mark of undeniable identity. Nothing else in this landscape could make such a mark. It is a signature, but the lion does not try to make this mark. It does not pause and think, I must now press my foot into the ground in a way that is uniquely leonine. The mark is an inevitable, effortless consequence of its own weight, its own structure, its own way of moving through the world. The signature is not an act of will, it is an act of being. It is a byproduct of its authentic nature. This is the deep beauty of Bernoulli's recognition. When he looked at Newton's anonymous solution, he was not seeing the work of an intellectual warrior baring his teeth. He was seeing the effortless paw print of a majestic and serene mind. He recognized the work not by its aggression or its complexity, but by its profound, natural, and inimitable grace. He knew that only one mind in the world could walk through such a difficult problem with such quiet, effortless majesty and leave behind a trail so simple, so powerful, and so perfectly formed. It is a beautiful thing to contemplate that the highest form of mastery is not one of struggle and effort, but one of stillness and being. It is the point where what you do and who you are become one and the same. Your actions become as natural and as authentic as your own breath. You leave a signature on the world not by trying, but simply by moving through it as yourself. And what of the signature itself? What of the solution to that first beautiful question? The curve of least time, the cycloid. Let us spend a moment with this shape, for it is one of nature's own favorites. Imagine a wheel rolling along a straight, flat line. Now imagine a single point of light fixed on the very edge of that wheel's rim. As the wheel rolls forward, what path does that point of light trace in the air? It does not move in a straight line. It does not move in a series of simple bumps. It traces a beautiful, looping, dipping arc. It rises, crests, and then swoops gracefully downwards, touching the ground for an instant before rising once more. That flowing, graceful, looping path is the cycloid. It is the universe's own favorite slide. It is the line of grace. And the fact that this beautiful rolling curve is also the curve of quickest descent is a secret of the universe that Newton's quiet mind was able to perceive. He saw that the most efficient path is also, in this case, one of the most beautiful. The universe, it seems, has a deep and abiding sense of poetry. It does not distinguish between efficiency and beauty. In its highest forms, they are one and the same. Allow the image of this curve to rest in your mind. A soft, swooping, graceful line. The path a raindrop might choose to slide down a window pane if it could. The path a child would intuitively carve on a snowy hill. It is a line of joyful surrender. It understands that the fastest way to get to the bottom is not to fight gravity with a straight, jarring line, but to cooperate with it, to use its pull to build momentum, to dance with it. This is the shape that lay hidden inside Bernoulli's question. This is the truth that Newton's mind, in its deep stillness, allowed to be revealed. And this is the signature he left upon the page. An effortless, graceful, and profoundly true curve. The mark of the lion. And as you lie here drifting, feel the resonance of this idea within you. Perhaps the path to true rest is also a kind of cycloid. Not a straight forced plunge into unconsciousness, but a gentle, graceful curve. A path of surrender. A path where you cooperate with the natural gravity of tiredness, allowing it to guide you, to carry you along a soft, swooping line into the quiet valley of sleep. There is no effort required. There is only the need to be authentic, to be yourself at rest. Your signature in this moment is the gentle rise and fall of your own chest. It is an effortless mark, an undeniable sign of your being, as authentic and as natural as a lion's paw print in the soft earth. Trust this natural rhythm. Trust this gentle curve. It is the path of least resistance. It is the path of grace. It is the path that is leading you even now to where you need to be. We have lingered in the quiet presence of a majestic mind, and we have seen how a profound truth can leave a signature as unique and as effortless as a lion's paw print in the dust. That signature was a shape, a beautiful dipping curve called the cycloid, which revealed itself to be the universe's own preferred path of least time. A path of perfect, flowing grace. This is a beautiful idea, a comforting idea, that the world left to its own devices will choose the path of greatest elegance. But let us now, in the quiet expanse of our shared stillness, allow this idea to grow. Let us ask a gentle question. What if this principle, this preference for a graceful flowing path, is not just the answer to a single curious riddle? What if it is a fundamental law of the entire cosmos? What if everything from a tiny bead sliding on a wire to the grandest of planets wheeling through the night sky is simply following its own perfect curve, its own path of least resistance? To explore this, we must zoom out. Let our awareness drift away from the warm, candlelit study in London, away from the Earth itself. Let us float out into the vast, silent, and beautiful darkness of space. Imagine yourself suspended in a profound and peaceful emptiness. The stars around you are not sharp, cold points of light, but soft, distant, shimmering jewels sewn into a fabric of deep velvet. There is no up or down here, no hurry. There is only a vast and serene stillness. Now, let us imagine the very fabric of this space, the canvas upon which reality is painted. For a long time, we imagined space as a great empty stage, a void through which things moved, pulled and pushed by mysterious, invisible forces. But the universe, it turns out, is far more subtle, more elegant, and more beautiful than that. Let us imagine that the fabric of space and time is not an emptiness at all. Let us imagine it as a single immense and continuous sheet of the finest, darkest silk. It stretches out in all directions to infinity. It is perfectly smooth, perfectly relaxed. This is the universe at rest, the great quiet canvas of all that is. Now let us place something on this silken fabric. Imagine we have a heavy, smooth sphere like a polished cannonball, but one that radiates a gentle golden warmth. Let this be our sun. We place it gently onto the center of our vast, dark sheet of silk. And what happens? The weight of this sun, its sheer presence, its mass creates a dimple in the fabric. The silk gives way, curving downwards in a smooth, gentle, symmetrical funnel shape around the warm sphere. The fabric of space-time itself has been persuaded to bend gently by the presence of the sun. It has not been torn or ripped. It has simply yielded, creating a soft, deep well in the otherwise flat expanse. This gentle, curving depression in the fabric is gravity. Gravity is not an invisible rope pulling things. It is not an active, grasping force. It is simply the shape of the space, the curvature of the canvas created by the presence of mass. It is a passive, gentle, and inevitable consequence of being. Now, let us introduce another smaller sphere into our model. A tiny, beautiful marble of blue and white. Let this be our Earth, and let us place it on the fabric of space-time some distance from the sun. We do not place it in the deep well itself, but on the gently sloping edge of the great dimple the sun has created. What will our little blue marble do if we simply place it there? It will begin to roll slowly at first, and then with increasing speed, down the graceful slope of the curve directly towards the sun. It is not being pulled. It is simply following the easiest path. The path of least resistance. It is rolling downhill. But what if we give our little marble a gentle nudge, a push sideways at right angles to the slope? Now something magical happens. The marble begins to roll following the curve downwards, but its sideways momentum prevents it from falling directly in. Instead, it enters into a perfect, stable, and unending path around the central well. It begins to orbit. Watch it in your mind's eye. The little blue marble, our Earth, silently, gracefully circling the great warm sun. It is following the curve of the space-time fabric, a perfect celestial dance. There is no engine firing. There is no rope holding it in place. There is only the marble, the sun, and the beautiful, elegant, and invisible curve in the fabric of reality that the sun's presence has created. The Earth thinks it is traveling in a straight line through space, but the space through which it is traveling is itself curved. And so its straight line becomes a circle, a perfect silent orbit, a path of perpetual, effortless falling. This is the true dance of the heavens. It is a dance of geometry, of shapes and curves. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid, every distant galaxy is simply following the gentle, curving pathways laid out for them in the fabric of space-time. They are all just rolling gracefully along the easiest path. Let this image fill your mind and bring you a sense of profound peace. The universe is not a chaotic place of violent forces. It is a place of sublime and gentle order. Its laws are not commands to be obeyed, but pathways to be followed. There is a deep rightness to it and inherent grace. Everything is simply finding its own cycloid, its own perfect curve of least resistance, and following it with a deep and abiding trust. And we too are part of this dance. You resting here are a creature of mass. Your own body, your own being creates its own tiny, infinitesimal dimple in the fabric of space-time, and you are resting within the larger, deeper dimple created by the Earth itself. The feeling of weight you have, the feeling of being held to your bed, is not the feeling of being pulled down. It is the feeling of resting at the bottom of a gentle cosmic well. You are settled in the curve. You are home. There is a deep permission in this idea. A permission to let go. A permission to stop fighting. The journey into sleep is not a battle against wakefulness. It is not something you must force. It is instead a gentle yielding. It is allowing yourself to follow the natural curve of tiredness that your body has created for you. It is allowing yourself to roll gracefully down the soft, gentle slope that leads to the sanctuary of rest. There is no need to push. There is no need to pull. There is only a need to release your own resistance and to trust the path that is already laid out before you. The shape of the universe is one of graceful curves and easy paths, and you are invited now to find your own. To let go and to allow the gentle cosmic slope of sleep to carry you effortlessly into its deep and peaceful valley. The path is already there. All you have to do is follow. We have floated in the silent velvet darkness of space, and we have witnessed the grand cosmic ballet of the planets. We have seen how the universe is not governed by invisible pulling forces, but by gentle curving pathways in the very fabric of its being. An Earth, a Mars, a distant Jupiter, all are simply rolling along the easiest path, following the graceful, silent contours of space-time created by the warm, heavy presence of the sun. It is a dance of sublime and effortless geometry. But this understanding, this vision of a universe guided by gentle curves, is a relatively new one. It is a poem that our modern era wrote. The mind that first glimpsed the truth of this cosmic connection, the mind of Newton, saw it in a different language. He saw it not as a curvature of space, but as a universal invisible attraction, a whisper between all things that have substance. And so let us now spiral back. Let us bring our awareness down from the cold, silent expanse of space and return to the warm, green, and living earth. Let us seek out the moment not of mathematical proof, but of quiet human insight, where this grand connection was first felt. Let us find ourselves in a garden. An old English garden bathed in the soft, honeyed light of a late summer afternoon. The air is warm and still filled with the drowsy, contented hum of bees drifting among the lavender and rose bushes. The shadows are growing long, painting soft, dark stripes across a lawn thick with clover. There is a sense of deep accumulated peace here, the kind of peace that settles into a place that has been loved and tended for many years. At the heart of this garden stands an old apple tree. Its trunk is thick and gnarled, covered in patches of soft green moss. Its branches are heavy, laden with fruit, some still green, others blushing with a rosy red in the warm sun. It is a picture of quiet, fruitful abundance, and sitting in the shade of this ancient tree is a young Isaac Newton. This is a different Newton from the elder statesman we met in his London study. This is the young man in the prime of his genius, sent home from the university to this quiet countryside to escape the plague that was then ravaging the cities. He is not here to work, not in a formal sense. He is here to be quiet, to think, to let his mind wander through the green and sun-dappled stillness of his family home. He is not wrestling with problems. He is simply observing, watching the way the light filters through the leaves, creating a shifting, dappled pattern on the grass below. Watching a spider meticulously weaving its web between two branches. He is in a state of open, gentle, and boundless curiosity. His mind is like the garden around him, peaceful, fertile, and bathed in a warm and gentle light. And then a small and utterly ordinary event occurs. An apple, its stem having finally withered, detaches itself from the branch above him. It does not fall with a crash or a thud. It is a soft, gentle release. A whisper of movement through the still air, ending with a muted thump as it comes to rest in the long, soft grass. This is the moment that has become a legend. The story often paints it as a flash of inspiration, a eureka moment where the laws of the universe were suddenly revealed. But the truth is likely something quieter, deeper, and far more beautiful. The truth is not about a sudden answer, but about a slow, dawning question. Newton sees the apple nestled there in the grass, a simple earthly object called home to the earth from which it grew. There is nothing surprising in this. It is the most natural thing in the world. But his gaze, the gaze of a mind steeped in quiet contemplation, does not stop there. He lifts his eyes up through the branches of the tree into the vast pale blue of the afternoon sky, and he sees something else. Faint, ethereal, like a ghost of a pearl, the moon is visible in the daytime sky. It hangs there luminous and distant, a celestial object on its own grand journey. And here in the stillness of the garden, a connection begins to form. Not a sudden spark, but the slow, deliberate weaving of a luminous, invisible thread. He sees two objects. One, an apple here close at hand, which has just followed a straight and determined path to the ground. The other, the moon, impossibly far away, which follows a steady circular path, a path of eternal orbit, never falling yet never flying away. And the question that begins to bloom in the quiet of his mind is this: are these two movements, which seem so different, actually part of the same single story? He considers the apple, what made it fall. The earth, he reasons, must have a certain quality, a certain drawing power that invites the apple to return to it. An invitation that the apple, once released from its branch, is powerless to refuse. It is a quiet local conversation, a whisper between the great body of the earth and the small body of the apple. Come home. The earth seems to whisper, and the apple obeys. It is a final, gentle surrender. Now he considers the moon. It too is a body of substance. It is vastly larger than the apple, but it is also vastly farther away. Could it be that the earth is whispering to the moon as well? Is it sending the same invitation, the same call to come home across that immense empty distance? It must be. The moon is not flying off into the void, so something must be holding it. Some invisible tether, some gentle, persistent persuasion must be keeping it in its loyal, silent dance. And if the earth can speak to the moon, then surely this drawing power is not just a local phenomenon. It must reach out far beyond the garden, far beyond the clouds, into the silent depths of space. But if the earth is calling the moon home, just as it called the apple, why doesn't the moon fall? Why doesn't it come crashing down to the ground just as the apple did it? And here the next part of the beautiful idea begins to unfurl. The moon is falling. It is in a state of perpetual, unending fall, but it is also moving sideways with an immense and powerful speed. And this sideways motion means that as it falls towards the earth itself, being a sphere, curves away from it. The moon is constantly falling, but it is moving so fast sideways that it constantly misses. Its path is the perfect balance between its forward momentum and the Earth's gentle, persistent, downward invitation. The result is not a crash, not an escape, but a perfect, stable, and eternal compromise. An orbit. A celestial dance choreographed by a single universal law. And in that moment of quiet, dawning comprehension, the universe changed. The barrier between the heavens and the earth dissolved. The laws that governed a piece of fruit falling in a garden were now understood to be the very same laws that governed the majestic, silent waltz of the planets and the moons. It was all one system, one single unified and exquisitely ordered creation, governed by one single elegant and universal principle. The feeling in that moment must not have been one of triumphant discovery, but of deep, resonant peace. The peace of seeing a hidden unity. The comfort of knowing that the world is not a collection of separate, arbitrary rules, but a single, coherent poem. The same gentle persuasion that guides the apple to the mossy ground also holds the moon in its silent, luminous embrace. This is the true legacy of that quiet afternoon. Not a story about a man being hit on the head, but a story about a quiet mind in a quiet garden seeing a thread of connection between the smallest, most familiar of movements and the grandest, most celestial of dances. It is a story of unity, a story of how the entire cosmos is held together by a single gentle and all-pervasive whisper. A whisper that calls all things in their own time and in their own way home. We left our young thinker in a quiet, sun-dappled garden, his mind having just woven a luminous, invisible thread between the humble fall of an apple and the majestic, silent dance of the moon. He had glimpsed a universal truth that all things are connected by a gentle, persistent persuasion, a cosmic whisper that calls all matter home. This is a profound comfort. To know that the universe is not a random collection of events, but a single coherent poem, where the same stanza governs the small and the great. But this gentle whisper of gravity is not the only invisible connection that holds our world together. There is another equally pervasive and perhaps even more intimate embrace that surrounds us at all times. To feel it, let us shift our awareness. Let us become aware of the very air around you. We so often think of the air as an emptiness, a nothingness between objects. We notice it only when it moves as a breeze on our skin or when we draw it into our lungs. But the air is not nothing, it is a substance, a vast, deep, and flowing ocean of its own. Imagine yourself not at the bottom of a sea of water, but at the bottom of a deep, invisible ocean of air. An ocean that extends for 50 miles above your head, all the way to the edge of the silent black vacuum of space. You are living, breathing, and resting at the floor of this immense, gaseous sea. And just like an ocean of water, this ocean of air has weight. Each molecule of nitrogen, of oxygen, of argon, as tiny as it is, has mass. And the combined weight of all those trillions upon trillions of molecules in the great 50-mile-high column of air directly above you is constantly gently resting upon you. This is atmospheric pressure, but let us not think of it as a pressure in a harsh or uncomfortable sense. Let us not think of it as a weight that is crushing us. The human body, having evolved at the bottom of this ocean, is perfectly attuned to it. We are built to live within this gentle embrace. So let us reimagine this pressure. Let us feel it not as a force, but as a hug. A constant, steady, and perfectly uniform hug from the sky itself. Feel it now on your skin, on your hands, your arms, your face. A steady, soft, and unceasing contact. The weight of the sky resting upon you with the lightness of a phantom blanket. It is a presence so constant that we have learned to ignore it completely. But it is always there. A silent reminder that we are not floating in a void, but are held within the substance of our world. Think of the feeling of being deep underwater. The deeper you go, the more you can feel the weight of the water above you. But it's not a painful or a pointed pressure. It's an even all-encompassing sensation of being held. A feeling of being suspended and embraced by the dense liquid world around you. The invisible embrace of the air is much like this, only far, far gentler. It is the faintest, softest version of that deep water embrace. Scientists, in their need to measure and describe the world, have given a name to the units of this pressure. They call them pascals. It is a name that honors another great thinker, Blaise Pascal, who studied this very phenomenon. But let us strip away the history and the science for a moment. Let us think of Pascal not as a unit of measurement, but as a name for a feeling. A name for this gentle, pervasive, and comforting sensation of being securely held by the world. Just as we have names for colors, the soft blue of a twilight sky, the deep green of moss, we can have a name for this feeling. It is the feeling of pascals on your skin, the feeling of the sky's gentle weight. And there is a deep instinctual comfort in this feeling. It is why a baby feels safe when it is swaddled. It is why we feel secure when we are hugged. And it is why, on a cool night, one of the most comforting sensations in the world is the gentle, steady weight of a heavy blanket. That feeling of a blanket settling over you, its weight distributed evenly across your body, is a beautiful echo of this much larger planetary embrace. When you pull a blanket over you, you are in a way amplifying the sky's hug. You are making the gentle whisper of atmospheric pressure into a clearer, more tangible sensation. You are creating a small personal sanctuary of comforting weight. Let your awareness sink into that feeling now. Feel the real or imagined weight of the blanket that covers you. Feel how it drapes over the contours of your body. Feel its gentle, steady pressure. This is the feeling of pascals. This is the feeling of being held. There is a profound security in this. It is a message to the deepest, most ancient parts of your nervous system. A message that says you are safe, you are protected, you are in a secure place. You can let go, you can relax. The steady, gentle pressure on your skin is a lullaby without sound. It is a quiet physical reassurance that all is well. This invisible ocean of air, this gentle hug from the sky, connects us all. The same air that you are breathing, the same pressure that is resting on your skin, is also resting on the leaves of the great forest, on the surface of the wide oceans, on the peaks of the highest mountains. It is a single unified embrace holding the entire world in its soft, invisible arms. It is the atmosphere's own form of gravity, its own way of holding things close. So as you lie here, feel yourself not as an isolated being in a room, but as a creature resting peacefully at the bottom of a deep, calm, and loving ocean of air. The weight you feel is not a burden. It is a blessing. It is the physical proof of the world's presence, its substance, its reality. It is the steady hand of the world resting gently upon you, calming your nervous system and inviting you into a state of deep and trusting repose. Allow yourself to sink into this feeling, to yield to this gentle weight. Feel the points of contact between your body and the surface beneath you. Feel the gentle, uniform pressure of the blanket above you, and feel the fainter but ever-present embrace of the sky itself. Let this trinity of gentle pressures be your anchor tonight. Let it ground you, soothe you, and hold you as you drift weightlessly in the inner world of your own mind. You are held. You are safe. You are home. We have felt the gentle, universal whisper of gravity that connects the apple to the moon. We have rested in the invisible planetary embrace of the air around us, the gentle pressure of the sky. We have journeyed outwards from a single thought in a quiet room to the great sweeping laws that govern the cosmos. And now let us journey to the quietest, stillest, and simplest place yet. A place of pure being. Let us once again call to mind the figure of Newton. Not the young man in the garden, nor the elder statesman in his study. Let us simply imagine him, the man himself, as a point of quiet presence. And let us imagine him performing a simple, curious, and deeply meaningful act. Imagine him standing on a patch of bare level earth. He takes a piece of chalk or perhaps the pointed end of a stick and he bends down. Slowly, deliberately, without any hurry, he draws a simple shape on the ground around his own feet. He draws a square, a perfect 1 by 1 meter square. He then stands up, placing himself in the very center of this shape he has created. This is a strange image, perhaps taken from a strange story. But let us forget the story and simply stay with the image. Let us meditate on the quiet power of this act. What does it mean to draw a line around yourself? What does it mean to define a space? The world is vast, endless, and filled with a ceaseless flow of events, sounds, and movements. It is a great unbounded ocean of happenings. To exist in it can sometimes feel like being a leaf caught in a great river, swept along with no sense of place or control. But the act of drawing a square is a gentle declaration. It is a quiet and powerful statement that says, here is a place. It is to create a distinction between the great flowing out there and the small chosen in here. It is to create a sanctuary. Think of the line he has drawn. It is not a wall. It is not a fortress. A leaf could blow over it. An ant could crawl across it without noticing. It has no physical power of exclusion. Its power is of a different kind. Its power is one of intention. It is a frame for awareness. By drawing this simple boundary, he has created a tiny island of chosen space in the vast sea of the world. Inside this square, the rules are different. Not the laws of physics, of course, but the laws of attention. Inside this square is the space he has chosen to occupy, to be present in. Everything outside the line is simply the rest of the world. But everything inside the line is the focal point. It is a deliberate act of creating a here. There is a profound peace in this. It is the peace of definition, the peace of choosing your ground. In a world of infinite possibilities and endless distractions, the simple act of drawing a boundary and choosing to be within it is an act of supreme tranquility. It is to say, for this moment, this is my entire world, this 1 square meter of earth, and I will be fully present within it. Let us imagine him standing there in the center of his self-defined world. His feet are planted firmly on the ground. He can feel the texture of the earth beneath his shoes. His awareness fills the small space from one chalk line to the other. He is not thinking about the past or the future. He is not concerned with what is happening a mile away or even a few feet away. He is simply being here now in his chosen square of silence. The space inside the square becomes a sanctuary, a place where the noise of the world softens to a distant hum, a place where the mind can cease its endless wandering and come to rest. It is an anchor for the soul, a tiny portable temple created with nothing more than a piece of chalk and a quiet intention. Now, let us bring this image, this feeling into your own experience. For you have just a short while ago performed this very same sacred ritual. Think of your bed. Think of this room around you. This right here is your square of silence. When you made the decision to end your day, to leave the living room, to turn off the lights and settle down here, you were drawing a line. You were making a gentle, powerful declaration. You were defining your sanctuary for the night. Your bed is not just a piece of furniture. Tonight, it is a sacred space, a defined island in the flow of your life. The boundary is not made of chalk, but it is just as real. It is the boundary between the world of doing and the world of being, between the demands of the day and the deep, quiet permission of the night. Everything outside this room, the quiet street, the sleeping city, the vast starry world can all continue on its way. It is the great out there, but here where you are resting is the in here. This is your chosen space, and within this space you are invited to be fully, peacefully present. Feel the boundaries of your sanctuary, the walls of your room, the edges of your bed. This is your kingdom for the night, a kingdom of peace, of stillness, of quiet restoration. You have drawn the lines. You have created the space. And now all that is left to do is to inhabit it, to occupy it with your own quiet, breathing presence. Let your awareness fill this space just as Newton's filled his square. Feel the texture of the sheets against your skin. Feel the gentle weight of the blanket, your own personal sky. Notice the quality of the darkness, the character of the silence in your room. This is your world for now, and it is a world of perfect safety. In this square of silence, you are free. Free from the need to perform. Free from the need to solve. You are free to simply be. To let your body rest. To let your mind soften. To let the gentle, natural processes of restoration begin their quiet work. This is perhaps the deepest secret of peace. It is not something we must find in the vast wide world. It is something we can create in any moment simply by choosing where here is. By drawing a gentle line and by giving ourselves permission to be fully within it. So rest now in your sanctuary, in your own personal and perfect square of silence. You have chosen this place. You have defined it. It is yours. And it is holding you just as you are holding it with your quiet attention. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to do. Here in the stillness, you are already home. Here you are, resting peacefully in the heart of your own chosen sanctuary, your square of silence. The boundaries have been drawn not with chalk, but with quiet intention. And within this sacred space you are held, you are safe. You are free to simply be. We have journeyed far out to the silent dance of the planets and into the deep stillness of a defined and chosen space. And now, the spiraling path of our story continues its gentle journey inwards, bringing these grand ideas home to the most intimate and undeniable reality of all, the simple, profound fact of your own body resting here now. Let your awareness, which has been floating in the cosmos and resting in the quiet of a conceptual space, now come to inhabit your physical form. Feel yourself here in this bed, in this room. And let us gently, with no effort at all, become acquainted with the feeling of your own substance, the feeling of your own weight. This is the next step on our journey back. We have felt the gentle, invisible embrace of the sky, that soft pressure of the atmosphere that we named Pascal. Now let us feel that other, more familiar pressure, the pressure of your own being in conversation with the earth beneath you. Let us return for a moment to that strange image of Newton standing in his square. The old joke gives his presence a name, a Newton over a square meter, a unit of pressure. But let us cast aside the joke and keep the poetry. Let us take this phrase and transform it from a clever pun into a beautiful and grounding truth. For you right now in your own square of silence are the living embodiment of this idea. You are your own gentle pressure, your own quiet weight, resting upon the surface of your world. Bring your attention softly to the points of contact between your body and the bed. Let's start with your head. Feel the weight of your head as it rests upon your pillow. The pillow in its softness is yielding, conforming to the curve of your skull. It is making a space for you. It is receiving your weight as a gift. This gentle, persistent pressure is a conversation between you and the object that holds you. It is the first verse in the poem of your own gravity. Now, allow your awareness to drift downwards to your shoulders. Feel how they have softened, how they have let go of the day's burdens, and are now resting heavily against the mattress. Feel that sensation of sinking just a little. That feeling of the world making way for you. This pressure is real. It is tangible. It is the undeniable proof of your presence here. It is a quiet anchor holding you gently in place. Let your attention wander further down your back, feeling the gentle curve of your spine and the places where your body makes contact with the surface below. There is no need to change anything, no need to adjust. You are simply noticing. You are becoming acquainted with the feeling of your own substance. This weight is not a burden. It is your connection to the earth. It is the constant loving whisper of gravity, the law we explored in the quiet of the cosmos, now made intensely personal. The great curving fabric of space-time is holding you. The immense body of the earth is holding you. And this feeling of weight is the sensation of being held. Continue this gentle inventory. Feel the weight of your hips, the heaviest part of your torso, forming a deep and secure anchor point. Feel how the mattress cradles you here. This is your center of gravity, the very core of your physical being now, completely at rest, completely supported. You can let go here. You can release all the tension held in these deep muscles because you are being so perfectly and completely held. Then feel the long, slow weight of your legs. The thighs, the calves, all the way down to your heels, which may be pressing, with a slightly more focused pressure into the mattress. Each part of you has its own weight, its own presence, and each part is in constant, silent communion with the world beneath it. This is your own personal Newton over a square meter. It is the physical signature of your being impressed upon your bed. This feeling of weight, this gentle pressure is profoundly reassuring. It is an anchor for the mind. When thoughts begin to drift and make you feel unmoored, you can always return to this simple, honest sensation. The feeling of your own body resting here now. It is real, it is true, and it is deeply calming. It tells the ancient animal part of your brain that you are on solid ground. You are not falling, you are not adrift, you are anchored, you are safe. Let us return to our image of the silken fabric of space-time. We saw how the great mass of the sun created a deep, gentle well. Here in your own square of silence, your body is doing the same. You are creating your own personal, gentle dimple in the fabric of your bed. A small, soft, and perfectly shaped crater of comfort. You are resting in the heart of your own gravitational well, a harbor of safety that you have created simply by being here. Allow yourself to sink more deeply into that feeling. With each exhale, let go a little more. Release your weight more fully to the surface that holds you. Trust it completely. The bed will not fail you. The earth will not fail you. The law of gravity is constant, steady, and trustworthy. It is holding you now with the same gentle persuasion that holds the moon in its orbit and the earth in its path around the sun. You are part of this grand cosmic embrace. And what is this sensation of weight truly? It is the sum of all your parts, the calcium in your bones, the water in your cells, the iron in your blood. All these atoms born in the hearts of long-dead stars have been gathered together here in this beautiful, temporary arrangement that is you. And each of those atoms is being called home by the earth. Your weight is the combined song of all your stardust, singing in harmony with the world. There is no need to think on this too deeply. Let it be a feeling. The feeling of being solid, of being real, of having substance. As you rest here, you are not a fleeting thought or a passing dream. You are a physical being occupying a physical space held by physical laws. And in this simple, profound truth, there is an immense and unshakable peace. Let the feeling of your own gentle, heavy presence be your lullaby tonight. Let it be the deep, resonant note that soothes your mind and guides you toward the stillness you seek. You are here, you are real, you are held, and that is enough. Here you rest in the quiet sanctuary of your chosen space, anchored by the gentle, reassuring weight of your own being. We have traveled far on this journey, from the deep stillness of a great mind to the silent, curving pathways of the cosmos. And we have begun the long, spiraling journey back, bringing these vast ideas home to the reality of your own body. Let us now revisit the heart of our story, the beautiful phrase that set our journey in motion. We recognize the lion by his claw, Bernoulli said, marveling at the anonymous paper before him. We explored this idea not as a mark of aggression, but as a signature of authentic being. A great lion moving with silent, fluid grace leaves a paw print in the earth. It is an effortless, inevitable, and unmistakable signature of its own majestic nature. It does not try to make it. It simply is, and the mark is a consequence. We saw how Newton's solution to the great problem was a signature of this same kind, a mark of a mind so in tune with the universe that its thoughts flowed with that same effortless, inimitable grace. A signature of being, not of doing. This is a profound and peaceful thought. In our waking lives, we are so often defined by signatures of doing. The reports we write, the projects we complete, the things we build, the goals we achieve. These are the marks we strive to leave on the world. But here now in this quiet space, those signatures have no meaning. The world of doing has been left outside the boundaries of your sanctuary. Here in the stillness, a different kind of signature is called for. A signature of pure being. And so the gentle question arises, what is your signature in this moment? What is the effortless, authentic, and undeniable mark of your presence here now, as you rest in this profound quiet? The answer is as close to you as life itself. The answer is your breath. Bring your awareness to it now, gently. There is no need to change it, to deepen it, to slow it. Simply notice it. This quiet, rhythmic, and perpetual tide that is uniquely yours. This is your signature of being. Think of its authenticity. Like the lion's paw print, your breath is an inevitable consequence of your nature. You are not trying to breathe. You are not commanding your lungs to draw in air or your diaphragm to contract and release. The process is happening on its own, guided by a deep and ancient wisdom within your own body. It is a perfect expression of your living self happening in this very moment. It is effortlessly, authentically you. Feel the gentle rise of your chest or your abdomen as the air comes in. And feel the soft release, the gentle collapse as the air flows out. This is the rhythm of your signature. A steady two-part melody that has been playing since the moment you were born. It is the quietest, most constant music in your personal universe. This signature is being written right now on the canvas of the air. With each exhalation, you release a warm, changed and invisible cloud into the room. A plume of your own essence. It is a testament written in molecules of carbon dioxide and water vapor that says, I am here, I am alive, I am at rest. It is the most honest statement you can possibly make. Unlike the lion's paw print, which is left behind in the earth, your signature is fluid, constant, and ever-present. It is a process, not a static mark. It is a continuous, living testament to your being here. It asks nothing of you but that you allow it to happen. It is the ultimate act of letting go, of trusting the deep, quiet wisdom of your own body to continue its life-sustaining work, even as your conscious mind prepares to drift away. Let us consider the qualities of this signature. It is utterly unique. The precise rhythm of your breath in this moment, its depth. Its pace is unlike anyone else's in the world. It is shaped by the needs of your body, the state of your mind, the peace of your surroundings. It is a perfect reflection of you here now. And because it is a perfect reflection, it is perfect. There is no need to judge it, no need to wish it were different. To accept your breath just as it is a profound act of self-acceptance. It is to say, the way I am in this moment is enough. Listen to its sound. It may be almost completely silent. Or you may hear a soft, gentle whisper of air in your nostrils or at the back of your throat. This is the sound of your own life force, the sound of your signature being written. Let it be the most comforting sound in the world. More soothing than the rain on the roof, more peaceful than the distant sound of the ocean, because this sound is coming from within you. It is the sound of your own personal sanctuary being alive and well. As you continue to rest, allow your breath to be your gentle anchor. When your mind begins to wander, as it naturally will, gently without any frustration, guide your attention back to the feeling of your breath. Back to your signature. It is the home base for your awareness. It is the central truth of your experience in this moment. Each breath is a new beginning. The last thought you had, the small worry that tried to surface, can be released with the exhale. And the inhale offers a fresh, clean, empty moment. An opportunity to begin again in stillness. Inhale and be present. Exhale and let go. This is the simple, profound rhythm of peace. This is the practice of resting in your own authentic being. The lion's mark speaks of its majestic power. Newton's solution spoke of his magnificent intellect. Your breath, your signature, speaks of something even more fundamental. It speaks of life itself. It speaks of your quiet, dignified, and precious existence. It does not need to be grand or powerful to be meaningful. Its meaning comes from its simple, honest truth. So let go of all other signatures tonight. The signature of your name, of your job, of your roles and responsibilities. Let them all dissolve. They belong to the world of doing. And you are now in the world of being. The only signature that matters here is this gentle, rhythmic tide rising and falling. Let this be your focus. Let this be your identity. For tonight, you are not a person who does things. You are a being that breathes. And in this simple, profound identity, there is an immense and liberating peace. The peace of knowing that you do not have to earn your rest. You do not have to achieve a state of calm. You simply have to allow it. You simply have to return your attention again and again to the effortless, perfect, and authentic signature of your own breath. And let it write you softly, gently into the deep and dreamless pages of the night. And so we come to the final chapter of our journey together tonight. We are resting in the quiet rhythm of our own authentic signature, the gentle, ceaseless tide of the breath. It is the most honest and peaceful truth of our being in this moment, a lullaby whispered from the very center of our own quiet vitality. Let us cast our minds back one last time to the beginning of our story. We began in a quiet, candlelit room in London, with a letter that had traveled across the sea. A letter from the universe posing a question. A tangled thread of thought about the most graceful, most efficient path a thing could take, guided only by the gentle persuasion of its own weight. We too began with a kind of question. Perhaps unstated, perhaps not even fully formed, but present nonetheless. The question of the day that has passed. The accumulated tensions, the leftover thoughts, the unresolved feelings, they form their own kind of tangled knot in the mind. And the unspoken question that we bring to our pillow is, what is the path through this? What is the solution to this gentle tangle of wakefulness? How do I find my way home to rest? And the universe in its quiet and subtle way has been offering us clues all along this journey. Every step we have taken together tonight has been a hint, a piece of the answer. We found the first clue in that quiet room where a great mind did not attack the problem, but instead created a sanctuary of stillness, a deep, clear lake of awareness, and allowed the answer to rise on its own. The clue was this: the solution to a tangle is not found in struggle, but in stillness. The path is revealed not to a striving mind, but to a receptive one. Then we found a clue in the image of the lion's paw. A signature of effortless, authentic being. The clue was that the most powerful actions are often the most natural ones. That our goal is not to force a result, but to align ourselves with our own true nature, and to let the result unfold as a graceful consequence. We followed that path of grace out into the cosmos, and we saw how the planets themselves follow a gentle curving path through space-time, not pulled by a force, but simply rolling along the easiest, most elegant route available. The clue here was that the universe itself has a deep preference for the path of least resistance. It is a fundamental law of nature. We spiraled back to a sun-dappled garden and saw the luminous thread that connected the falling apple and the orbiting moon. The clue was one of unity. The gentle law that guides the small and the near is the very same law that guides the vast and the distant. The laws of peace and rest are universal. They apply to the cosmos and they apply to you. We felt the invisible comforting embrace of the sky, the gentle steady pressure we named Pascal. And we felt the even more immediate comfort of the blanket that covers you. The clue was that the world is not an empty void, but a substantial presence that is constantly gently holding you. You are safe. You are swaddled. You can let go. We stood in our minds within a simple, hand-drawn square of silence. And we recognized that we have the power to define our own sanctuary. Your very presence in this bed, in this room tonight, is the creation of your own sacred space. The clue was this peace is not a place you must travel to, but a space you can create simply by choosing where here is and by being fully present within it. We brought our awareness deep into our own bodies and felt the gentle, persistent reality of our own weight, our own substance. Our personal Newton over a square meter. The clue here was that you are real. You are here. You are anchored to the world, and this connection is not a burden, but a profound source of stability and peace. And finally, we have rested in the rhythm of our own breath, the effortless, authentic, undeniable signature of our own being. And the clue, the final most intimate clue, is that the process of life of peace of restoration is already happening within you. You do not need to invent it. You do not need to control it. You only need to allow it. And so, what is the answer to our quiet question? What is the solution to the gentle tangle of a day fully lived? The solution is rest. It is that simple. And it is that profound. The solution is not something you must achieve or conquer. It is the natural, inevitable, and graceful path that your body and mind already know how to follow. Sleep is the universe's own cycloid curve for the problem of wakefulness. It is the path of least time, of least resistance, and of greatest grace. It is the elegant built-in answer that has been waiting for you all along. Your only task, if there is a task at all, is to let go, to surrender to the gentle gravity of your own tiredness, to allow yourself to follow the beautiful descending curve that is already laid out before you. Let go of the story now. Let go of my voice. Let them dissolve their purpose served. They were just the map, the fragrant trail, the series of signposts pointing you towards this very moment, this threshold, and now you are here. Allow the boundaries of your square of silence to soften and fade away. Let the deep peace you have cultivated in your sanctuary now merge with the even deeper peace that is waiting for you. Let go of the awareness of your weight. Trust that the earth will continue to hold you just as it holds the moon without any need for your attention. Simply allow yourself to be held, and finally let go of the attention on your breath. The signature will continue to be written a testament to your life, continuing its quiet work as you drift away. You can release the need to watch it. Trust its ancient wisdom. The solution is rest. The path is surrender. The time is now. Gently, softly, without any effort at all, allow yourself to drift. Allow yourself to float. Allow yourself to sink into the deep, quiet, and healing darkness. It is a welcoming darkness, a familiar darkness. It is the peace you have earned. It is the solution you have been seeking, and it is here for you now. Welcome home.